Good morning. Hey, today we are going to do a sun salutation review. I'm super excited about this. I'm recalling we had an 8-week tips too. So today's tip is all about the wrist. Let's shake it out, warm it up. Sun salutations are a series of postures put together, connected, that work the whole body and are meant to warm the body up. So when we're getting ready for a run or we're going to get ready for a workout, this is a great way to get the body blood pumping and moving. And of course, blood pumping and moving is how we throw out the trash, so to speak. It really affects our lymphatic system. This is a good thing that you're here. All right, so let's lace the fingers, rotate through the wrist. Bring the hands behind the base of the skull here and squeeze the elbows together. Then press the head back into the hands, palm of the hand. And I want you to see how I'm doing this. So work, but the hands are back behind the head. And I'm pushing the head back, not stretching all this muscle along the side body. The elbows are pulling up, head's pressing back, not lifting the chin, pressing back, which is different than tipping back. Don't tip it back, press it back. It feels different. Keep the neck long, and then pull the rib cage in. Take several more long, deep breaths. Count of 5, 2, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2. One more, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 3, 2, and 1. And release. Shake the head, shake the hands, and bring the palms together for a position, spreading the fingers. So it looks like this. And then we'll bring the wrist down. It's going to actually stretch this top part here, maybe put a little bit of pressure. Now, when the fingers are together here, we're going to push the finger pads together. That's going to create a little space right there. You should see it. So if you tip your hands down, you're going to see that little space. Keep pressing, pads of the fingers together, shoulders are broad, and we're lifting up. Now we're stretching the wrist and the forearms. There's a lot of chaturangas in sun salutation, so we want to warm this up well. And then just simply release. And again, shake it out. And shake the whole body. Let's go to break this down today. We're going to do a half an hour. I just run through a half, series A, series B, and then we'll break it down. So at the top of your mat, we'll bring the arms overhead. Inhale, like you're reaching to the sky. Now as you extend to the sky, there's this beautiful stretching happening in the front body. We want to couple that with an awareness that the ribs are poking out right here. So you're going to pull them in, just bring them in. You can see what happens there. Poke out, poke in. I get length in my low back, and that supports my low back. So that's the reach. This is Tadasana, feet are firm, pressing into the earth. Now when we go to the forward fold, I'm not going to keep a straight leg because that's putting a lot of pressure here. So I'm going to bend the knee. Takes all the pressure off the back, and I can keep the back flat as I come all the way down. You see my chest to the thigh. Inhale to a flat back. I'm going to bring the hands to the shin. If you don't have blocks, if you've got blocks, that's an option. And you can see a tabletop. So look in the mirror and see your tabletop. And it went like this. That's not a tabletop, and your arms are dangling. It's here with extension. Exhale, float in. And when we reverse the swan dive, again, bend the knees, Bring the arms outside, flat back, come all the way up. That takes the pressure off of the back. Hands together, heart center. Let's do that a little bit quicker. Inhale, reach, ribs in. Exhale, forward fold, little bend in the knee. Inhale, half lift, hands on the shin. Exhale, fold in. Legs are straight. Inhale, bend the knees, come all the way up to standing. Root down to rise up. Palms together, hands to your heart center. All right, this time, no words. Do one more of those. You go over and over that if you'd like. So now we're gonna add on, this is a series A. I'm just gonna add a prayer wheel circle too. Actually, let's do this. Let's do a side body stretch in between. So you're gonna clasp the wrist here, make the seal of consciousness, and take it up and over to one side. Lift, extend. Oh, that feels so, so good. Again, ribs in. So the lower rib right here, you're just gonna try to connect the rib towards each other and lock it towards your hip. I call it a rib lock. Inhale, come back to center. Let's go over to the second side. Up and over. Breathing full and deep, just like we did at the beginning. Ooh, and now it's gonna get us a little bit more warmed up. Ooh, warm up for the warm up. Inhale back to center. We'll bring the hands to the heart center. Prayer will circle forward. So it's keeping the wrists together. The hands come towards you and then away in a circle. So I'm just circling that out. Come to the top of your mat, release the arms to your side. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, bend the knee. Take a forward fold. Now maybe the knees don't have to bend as much because we're getting looser. Inhale, half lift. Now we're gonna plant the hands next to the feet. Now I bend the knees quite a bit. There's no pressure on my hands yet. I wanna take one foot and step all the way back, put that pressure on the foot. And then I can free up the opposite foot. If that's hard, then you can bring blocks in to help facilitate. The blocks in. We're here a little bit higher and then bring the blocks away. So we end up in a plank position. Now this first time through, I want to come into downward facing dog and then glide into plank. We're just warming up the calves and shin, shoulders. It's okay if you feel stuck in your upper back, but I want to start thinking about rotating the bicep forward, broadening through the shoulder, and then taking the heart in the opposite direction. So it's going towards the thigh. And for some friends, widening your stance here and bending the knees will be a big help. So just try it, widen your feet, bend your knees. Now you can lift and tilt the sit bones towards the sky a little easier than you could before. My heels are down. So I've got really tight hamstrings right now at the moment. And that's okay. This is our first time through. We're going to take it times 4. So there's no pressure to be floating your feet, heels to the floor at this point. We're just warming up. Okay, so come into plank, your plank. Let's review the plank. Shoulders over wrist, fingers are wide, pressing into the floor. So we take the pressure off the wrist. It should feel sturdy and strong. If your wrists are weak, it's because it's a joint. Everybody's wrist is weak. That's a trick question. If your forearms are weak, then you're gonna feel it in your wrist. So we wanna start strengthening the forearm. One way to do that is, instead of taking all of the weight here, bring the knees down. We're still at a slant. Keep the pressure in the pads of the fingers. So you'll take your chaturanga from this position versus having the knees off. Okay, so this first time through, ribs anchored towards the hip, knees down. And then it's not a bend back with the elbows. It's actually shift the weight forward and then drop the shoulders, keep the hips high. You want to come to this position and then release into a low cobra. You'll gain strength, trust me, and you'll get this. The reason we want to take that chaturanga slow is so we start building strength in the arms, so you become more independent. Dependency happens when we get in our old age because we weaken. And it's not that we weaken, we're not strengthening. So let's do some strengthening moves. These are strengthening moves. We want to keep doing them. Okay, so once we have that chaturanga, up dog, and then now we're in a downward facing dog, we're gonna walk our feet back up. Keep your blocks handy and use them as a stepping stone. So as you walk in, you walk your hands up to the blocks. Then we're gonna take a breath and make a tabletop. Exhale, round it down and in. Bend the knees slightly, and we're gonna come up, just like we did before, flat back, all the way to standing. Bring the palms together, heart center, ribs in. Like that's our chief move for the day is this rib anchor, because when we pop it open, we're putting our low back at risk. And as you know, many people already have a risky low back. We want to make it strong. Okay, parallel circle. Let's take it up and over to the left. Inhale, center. Up and over to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale, take a forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, half lift. Hands to shins or use the blocks. Now plant the hands, steady here. I'm gonna start with my right leg back. Lift the left knee, come into plank. Knees, exhale, chaturanga. Keep the elbow over the wrist. That means your torso comes forward. Release the hips now. Inhale, low cobra. Do not do a push-up here. Do not do that. Do not do that. That's a push-up. We want a back lift, shoulders broad, heart forward. That's where we want. Rewind it if you need to look at that again. Exhale, downward facing dog. This is we're really breaking this down so you get the movement so it can be effective for you. Every time you do it, this can be a really great part of your regimen, daily regimen. Downward facing dog. You will take 3 breaths here. Fingers are spread wide. I'm strengthening my forearm by pressing the pads of the fingers down into the earth. Then we're going to walk forward. Baby steps. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, come all the way to standing. Root to rise, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Let's just put that together. I'll talk you through it once, and you'll do it once on your own. Parallel circle. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, we're just doing this little side stretch add-on because it feels so good. No, typically part of a sun salutation, but I like it. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins. Plant the hands, step back. We're in a plank. Bring your knees to the floor after you propel forward and then bend the elbows lower down. Inhale, low cobra. Low cobra here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pressing the pads of the fingers, 3 breaths. Walk forward. Feet to hands, that can be as many steps as you like. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Break it down here. Bend the knees. Do the breakdown with me, even if you've done these 100 times. Reach to the sky. You want to feel this in your body and get rid of anything that's not serving you. And sometimes we learn a certain way or we move a certain way and we have to unlearn it. Okay, shake the wrists out. One more, this is going to be on your own. Start with the parallel circle. Inhale, drop the arms, exhale, overhead. Inhale, clasp the wrists to the side. And back to center. Other side. And then you take it from here. And once you're in downward facing dog, I'm going to show you the possible jump forward. If we're doing that, the jump forward, you want to bend your knees and take your hips back like we're pouncing. So we're going to spring forward, and everybody can do this. You don't have to get from here to here if that's a daunting task. Go from go mid-mat or even a quarter of the mat. So it's a spring and you want to just get a little airborne hop. Practice the hop, hop, hop until you get to the top. So everybody can hop forward, just maybe not all at once. Maybe that's in baby steps. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, come to standing. Exhale, ribs in, palms together, heart center, parallel circle forward. Inhale, exhale to the side. Reach upward. Exhale over to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, this is the last time through. Step or jump back. You practice that hop. Chatturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hop forward. At the end of your breath, exhale all the air out. And just a little jump. Hop. Inhale, nice. Half lift. Exhale, fold in. All the way to standing. Did it. All right. Palms together, heart center. And you should feel like, oh my gosh, I'm out of breath a little bit. We're getting there. So the last Sun Salutation B, we're going to start in an Utkatasana. And this is the same movements. We just add on again. We're going to add on a warrior pose. Let's actually just structure the warrior pose pretty quick. So in a warrior, you're at the top of your mat. We step the left foot back, keep it on the same train track, and then just turn the toes out. So your heels are not lined up. There's a little bit of space. So we're going this way. Can you see the space? My back toe is gonna be about 45 degree, not 90, but about 45, because your knee and hip are facing forward. So your foot has to be in that same direction too. Okay, so that's our warrior. And the front knee is bent. Knee is bent. Let's try it on the second side. Step your right leg back. Turn the foot slightly out. Track the front knee right over the ankle. Feet on separate train tracks. The hands can be anywhere from the waist all the way up to the sky. Goalpost, out to the side, here, It can even be on the thigh. All right, so there's our warrior one. That is the posture we're adding in. So let's begin. And this is another one, Utkatasana. We start our series B in Utkatasana. Deep bend in the knees, weight back in the heels, arms float overhead. Even in this posture, we're pulling the ribs in. So if you look out, your belly's relaxed, your low back's going to be at rest. If we pull in and zip from the pelvic floor up, shift the hips back more, and reach to the sky. You have to hold that, and your quads probably get a little bit tired. That's okay. I've got offered leg. That. Hold it. Then from here, we start off with our forward bow. Now, at this point, your legs might be straight. Inhale, half lift. Fingers might stay on the ground. Step back into the plank. And we start off just like a series A. Pulse forward, and I'm going to do this with my knees off the ground. It doesn't matter if they're on or off. The slow, this is the same. You get the same effect. We're strengthening the arms. Inhale to upward facing dog, no space from the hip all the way down to the tops of the feet pressing down into the mat. Anywhere in between here. So this is a low cobra with my hips on the mat, less pressure on the arms and wrists, but keep the legs straight. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from here, we step the right leg forward, which is a little bit different than stepping one of them back. So if your foot comes halfway, bring your blocks in and step up onto the block. This is all good stuff. If you can't get there, just keep trying. And then we bring the foot all the way forward. This should be a large stance, an uncomfortably large stance. And then hand to the thigh. See how I'm building myself up. I'm walking up, hand to the knee, back heel down to the earth. I lift and bring the hands to the waist. Rib anchor, shoot the arms to the sky. There's my warrior. Perfect. Strong, standing. And we want to be able to get this into this stance, barring any injury. This is a strength move. Then bring it back to the earth. Again, you can walk it down. Blocks to the side, free the foot up. Bring the blocks away. And we'll take another chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. The more you practice, the easier these get because we strengthen the body. So remember, bring the blocks in, step forward, and then step forward again, press the back heel to the earth. Inhale, climb up the ladder, hands to the waist, or to the sky. If you feel like you're out of breath, keep the arms down because this takes more effort to bring the arms overhead. And then you speed up the heart rate. It's already racing. We don't want that. We want smooth breathing. And we want the heart rate to get activated, but not skyrocket. All right, then we'll come back down. Hands to the floor. Just all the way back. You can always choose to bring the knees on the floor. You don't have to graduate in one day. Lower down chaturanga. Inhale. It could be low cobra again, or this upward facing dog. I'm showing you options. So as you graduate through, you make these smooth transitions. You can tailor your practice. Full breath in, full breath out. Let's bend the knees and mount forward. At the end of the breath, inhale, half lift. Exhale, hold in. Bend the knees. We're going to end our series B with Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to the heart. Hi, hello, kitty. I'm going to rotate through the wrists a little bit. If your wrists are shot, let's skip the chaturangas for you. Okay, you know them. You can practice them as your forearms get stronger and protect your wrist to be able to do more of those and have more stamina. Okay, series B. Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Plant the hands, step back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Or a low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg to the top of the mat. Bend your back heel. Climb the ladder. Inhale, arms overhead or at your waist. Exhale, let's come back down. It's up, down, up, down. We need to be able to get up and down, up, down. There's no excuse. If you say, well, I can't get up and down. That's right, today. You just keep practicing and you can get up and down. And that's independence, and you want your independence. Don't you? Take charge. Yes, walk up, arms overhead. Exhale, walk down, palm to the floor, because you can do it. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's the full circuit. Step or jump your feet to your hands. At the end of your exhale, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Ooh, already I can tell my hamstrings are a little more open than when we started. Bend the knees deeply, with back of the heels. Open it up to Utkatasana or that chair pose. And exhale, come into Tadasana, straight legs. Hands to your heart center. We'll repeat that one more time. Actually, maybe twice. Remember, take out the chaturangas if your wrists are in pain. And if you want, you can do this without going to the floor at all, just by stepping back with one leg instead of forward. So you join us on the warriors. So it looks like this, Utkatasana. You take your forward fold, your half lift. Instead of jumping back, you come all the way back up to standing. People are doing chaturanga right here. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, step forward with the right leg. Now we're in warrior one. So this, I'm just showing you how to do this without going to the floor. Hands to the floor, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Step the back foot forward if you're here, and your left leg forward if you're on the ground. Right leg back. Now we're both on the same leg. Warrior one. And you're holding hands to the earth, step back, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And then jump your feet together, the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Put it with them. Exhale, fold in. Bend the knees deeply, weight back in the heels. Inhale, Utkatasana. Rib anchor. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, and then we'll do it one more time, silent. We all end up in a downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Come up high onto the balls of the feet on your last inhale. Bend the knees, weight back in the toes. So we're going to take a little spring. Exhale all the air out and spring forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Bend the knees deeply, weight back in the heel. Utkatasana, inhale. And exhale, Tadasana, hands to heart. Okay, so when you go through quickly like that. Now I feel like my breathing's going, the rhythm's there, my quads are open. They've woken up, my arms are woken up, wrists are woken up. I'm awake, and now we're gonna take Shavasana. That was great. Warm up for many, many things. The Sun Salutations are our friend. Let's come all the way to the floor. Actually, let's come this way to the floor. Just to do something fun here. So you're gonna step behind with left leg. And we'll take that a little extended version here through the side body. Come back to center. Take the right leg behind to the blade, and then a really strong stretch through the side body. Free up the neck, shoulders, and come back to center. And then curtsy. So this foot comes back, we bend the knee, and we'll take it up and over. Back to center. Take the right leg back. We're on the ball of the foot, curtsy, and up and over. And this is how we'll get down. You may want a chair or a couch next to you. So just bring one leg behind. You could also use blocks. I'm going to come down, no hands, all the way down to the earth. Now for some friends, that's going to be hard on the knees, and the flexibility in the hip may not be available for that yet. So practice, practice, practice. As you do these sun salutations, you get more strength, more agility. This will become more possible. And that's, again, a sign of your independence as you get into your upper years. So let's come into cow face, Gomukhasana, any figure four that you'd like to take, or just stretch out the hips and forward fold gently. Switch sides. Ooh, my hips are pretty tight. This feels so good. It's like I'm cleaning out the hip socket. So other options besides this, sit on a block, a blanket, as I prop myself up. My hips are elevated, the knees have more space. Another option is just extend a face leg and then drop it open into a figure four. That works. Ooh, same great stretch. And we're going to go to the second side. The right leg comes under, left knee comes over, or vice versa. If you're mirroring me, that's fine too. Gomukhasana with a block under the hip. That takes some of the pressure off, and the bulkiness of the knee isn't quite so bulky. I don't feel the stretch, but for me, bringing the hips back on the earth is a better option. But you get to choose what works for you. I'm just showing options. And then take it forward. Ooh. Some definite tightness in there. Take that bottom leg, straighten it all the way up, and then a figure four for the top leg and bow forward. Always an option. I feel this in my hip. If you feel it in your hamstring, bend the knee and bring the knee to you so that hip stretch happens. And then bring the chest towards the shin. You can see I'm fairly upright. I'm not doing this rounding thing. We get enough of that during the day. We really got to start pulling the shoulder blades back, bringing them towards the spine. So we have more evenness. Let's come into Dandasana. Shake the feet, roll them out side to side. Give your knees a little love. And then take it forward, fold. And it doesn't matter how far forward you go. go. It could be just a little bit right here. It's like, oh, that's where my hamstrings are. It's great. You have a block. You can bring your head to the block. That would be a nice gesture. Oh. Take a few deep breaths. And I hope you come to this video again and again and practice the breakdown of chaturangas. You can be mindful, I think, as you move through the chaturangas, the up dog, the down dog, through your series A and series B, you're going to pick up the nuances and build strength over and over again. Build the good thing. All the way back up. And go to the floor. Bend the knees, take a little spinal twist. Drop the knees over to your right side. Go. Back to center, over to the left side. Back to center. And all the way to the floor. Again, shake the feet. Get comfortable. Hands at your side. Full breath in, full breath out. Closing the eyes. You come into Shavasana for the peacefulness, integration, even in the Sun Salutation or after you've done a full class, a full practice. This is a really important part of the practice to allow the body to rest and digest what just happened. Sometimes we do our workouts on the go, like we do our eating, and if that habit is more prominent in your life, the slowdown is going to be a little tricky to maneuver, but it's going to be very beneficial for you. So I really want to be an advocate for your body to be able to relax and release without sleeping, right? Just allow yourself that comfortable release from the hubbub and doing so much. If we have that 2 or 3 minute break, just take a deep breath into the belly. Send it out as you exhale through the fingers and toes. Wake up the hands, stretch it out. You did such a good job today. Bend the knees, let's roll over to your side. Use your top arm to come up to seated position, cross leg. Feeling much better than when we started. Hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me on this Sun Salutation breakdown today. Namaste.